Hello and welcome to another video from Midas Touch Toys, Games, Collectibles. And today, well, we're looking at something that's now becoming quite old. It's very, very collectible and becoming increasingly more difficult to find, especially in this mint sealed condition. We are looking at the 2011 release by Gentle Giant from their Star Wars Jumbo series of action figures, and this particular one we're looking at today is part of the original 12 Kenner released 3 3/4 figures from 1977, and these were all turned into jumbo figures by Gentle Giant from 2011 on. So this particular one we're looking at today is of C-3PO as he appeared in Star Wars the original movie, and obviously in the original trilogy. And obviously you all know Star Wars was an American space opera. It was created by George Lucas and was produced by his production company Lucasfilms, and it was distributed by 20th Century Fox, and it consisted of 3 films originally, which was Star Wars in 1977, The Empire Strikes Back in 1980, and The Return of the Jedi in 1983, which was really the beginning of the Skywalker saga. However, obviously, after the original trilogy, they then produced the prequel trilogy, which was episode 1, 2, and 3. Star Wars then became episode 4, A New Hope. Episode 5 was The Empire Strikes Back. Episode 6 was The Return of the Jedi. And then, of course, we've had the Star Wars, the last 3 films, which was the sequel trilogy, and that consisted of the Force Awakens, the Last Jedi, and the Rise of Skywalker, and that collectively is known as the Skywalker 9 movie saga. But the first 3 films, so they aired, the first one was May 25th, 1977, was release date. Empire Strikes Back was May the 21st, 1980, and Return of the Jedi was May the 25th, 1983. So that was all over a 6-year period. Incidentally, interestingly, the budget for the 3 films combined was $76.5 million. And to date at the box office it's taken $1.798 billion. So that's quite a return on the 76.5 million, and obviously made George Lucas a billionaire. Okay, but these figures that we're looking at today, now these figures were the original 12 released by Kenner, and what Gentle Giant decided to do was make these original 12 figures into 12-inch figures, which is basically what they did and what we have in front of us here. And they done it on retro packaging, so it's a copy of the original packaging which would have housed the original 12 figures, and all that's blown up to suit the 12-inch figure. So this particular one is C-3PO, and this is the guy in front of it, and it's item number 38220, and it says ages 14 and up, Star Wars C-3PO, and that's originally that spelt C-3PO how it appeared on the original Kenner card in 1977, and C-3PO was in brackets, and at the bottom it's got Kenner, and it says meets or exceeds all safety requirements of product standard 72 to 76, and it's copyright 1977 20th Century Fox Films Corp, and it's got LP, which is the long playing toys guarantee. Okay, and of course you can see C-3PO behind the bubble. We'll have a good look at him in a moment, but what I'm going to do now is turn the card around and have a look at what we got printed on the back. Okay, so I turn the card around, and this is what we got on the back. And what you can see on the back there is the original 12 figures that were released by Kenner in 1977. And obviously, Gentle Giant released all 12 of them in the blown up jumbo style. So it says at the top, Star Wars, and it says start your own collection of Star Wars jumbo action figures. 12 authentically designed figures in realistic Star Wars costumes. All figures have movable parts. So number 1 is the Sand People, and that's 12-inch in sand fighter costume with Gallifrey stick. Number 2 is C-3PO, which is what this one is, 12-inch in shining gold finish. Number 3, Death Squad Commander, 12-inch with laser rifle. Number 4 is Han Solo, 12-inch with laser pistol. Chewbacca, 12.5-inch with laser rifle. Princess Leia Organa, 11.75-inch, has a removable cape and laser pistol. Luke Skywalker, 12-inch with action lightsaber. R2-D2, again that's the old spelling of R2-D2 as well. 7.5-inch with movable legs and head that clicks. Stormtrooper, 12-inch with laser rifle. Obi-Wan Kenobi, 12-inch with action lightsaber and removable cape. Jawa, 7.5-inch with shining eyes and laser gun. And it says collect all 12 Star Wars jumbo action figures. It shows you how to work the lightsaber. When in closed position, tip of saber sticks out slightly. Push arm lever forward and pull saber out by tip. To close, push tip of saber in and push arm lever back. There we go. And look out for these other exciting Star Wars collectibles from Gentle Giant. So you've got the Darth Vader statue, General Veer's mini bust, the Neon Numb mini bust, Anakin Skywalker and Sabula mini bust 2-pack. And it says www.gentlegiant.com, starwars.com information there, and you've got the copyright and licensing information all at the bottom there. The CE markings and conforms to the safety requirements of whatever the numbers are there. Not suitable for children under 3. Gentle Giant logo, Hasbro logo, Kenya logo, and you've got the barcode, made in China, and the Gentle Giant guarantee on the bottom right hand corner. Okay, that's the back of the card. Let's turn it back around to the front now, and let's have a look at the item itself. Okay, so I've zoomed right in on the C-3PO figure there, and unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you look at it, it's still sealed in the packet. But this is a Gentle Giant card, and I've just had a thought actually that because it's in the protective plastic container, I might be able to actually take it out. So I'm just going to have a look and see if that's possible. Okay, so I have been a little bit naughty here, and I have removed C-3PO from the packet. Now I did it quite simply because the packet is contained, or the whole thing is contained in a plastic case which pops open. So as I popped it open, I could remove the figure in its actual bubble, and he was only strapped in with a few cable ties. So I've removed the cable ties and managed to remove him from the packet, so we can have a real good look at C-3PO now. So here he is in all his glory, and I mean the facial features, I mean I suppose you couldn't really get it wrong because he is a droid, but he does look absolutely spot on. He's such shining gold finish on this figure. He looks absolutely brilliant, I must say. So if we move down to his body, and there you can see, now as I say, this was the original version that we had from the original Star Wars, so it's with him in his gleaming body as he appeared in the very first movie. But as you can see, he is in that complete gold finish, hands as well, the whole thing of him, the whole body and the head. And if I turn him to the side, he is completely the same all the way down his back. Now there's a ball joint there, I'm not quite sure what that is there for, but that's as I've moved him back, I've slanted him as well, so there's that ball joint there. I'm not quite sure what that ball joint is for, or whether that's just the way he looked in the original trilogy, but we'll have a look at his articulation in a moment. But there we go, and there on the back of his leg, it's got copyright markings there, and it's got the same numbers as what was on the original Star Wars figures from the 70s. So it's in 1977, and Hong Kong, which is where it would have been made. and that's the number GMFGI, whatever that was supposed to mean. Not quite sure what it meant, but those are the same numbers as what was in the original 1977 4-inch figures. So there we are. So that is C3PO, and I've got to say he does look the part, I must say. But what I want to do is get some measurements of him, because 12 inches is what he's supposed to be, and that is, believe me, that is exactly what he is. He stands 12 inches tall. If I measure across his hands, they're 14 centimeters. And if I measure him depth-wise, we are looking at 6 centimeters. So that gives you a good idea of the size. Right, articulation. So the head turns, moves up and down a little bit, but it really is just circling. The arms move up and down. The hands move as well. So that's a good point. Well, that one does. I don't know whether this one, or whether it's not as supposed to or not. Maybe it's not supposed to, but this one certainly does move. But otherwise it's just the arms that move up and down. The elbows don't move. There is movement on the hand a little bit. Waist wise, no movement. Articulation on the legs, knees, nothing. And the feet move up and down. Do they? Well, they don't actually move up and down, but they do. You can pull them off. They've got like the little tabs on them, which like you have on the old 12-inch Action Men. So I think he's basically built like, the articulation is built just like the original 1977 figures. So like, maybe the hands are not supposed to move the way they are. But they do move slightly. Again, it's because they've got the pegs in that hold the hands into position. So you're probably not supposed to be able to turn them, but they do turn a little bit. Okay, that is C3PO. Now, okay, how well did this range of figures in actual fact do in 2011? Well, don't forget the Gentle Giant figures are all limited editions. They're limited releases. They only release a certain amount, and then they move on to the next figure. And obviously they've done the first 12. I don't actually know the quantities of the first release of figures, or how many of those 12, what the final amounts of each of those 12 were. But obviously they did move on to, after these, they moved on to the Empire Strikes Back figures, and then they moved on to the Return of the Jedi figures. So they did do quite a lot of these 12-inch figures, and I believe that they're still producing some 12-inch figures, limited edition ones again. So I did have a quick look on their website, and there is some on pre-order. So I'm assuming that they're still releasing these 12-inch figures. So I'm guessing that they would have done very well. I don't really know if this original 12 was on pre-order or not. Not 100% sure about that. But I'm guessing whatever was released sold relatively well. Probably so. I'd imagine they were all on pre-order. And they obviously would have sold a lot, because they very, very rarely ever come up for sale nowadays. So let's move forward then to 2025, which is where we are today. So we're going forward 14 years. Do they come up for sale on the platforms? Well, I did have a hunt round on the platforms. I saw a few jumbo figures on the platforms, not very many though. If you search on Star Wars jumbo figures, you get maybe 5 or 6. That's it. And if you go back on the history and have a look, there's very, very few that have actually come up over the course of the last 2 or 3 years, which is what I look back at. I'm talking about UK here. I didn't look on the American site, to be fair. I only looked on the UK site, and I know that they are very few and far between and very collectible. And the ones that did come up for sale here in the UK, they did sell very quickly. So very occasionally do they come up. I didn't find another C3PO, by the way, though. I think the other one I saw was Han Solo, and there was a Luke Skywalker one. I think those were the 2 others that I saw. I I don't remember seeing any others from the first 12. And Han Solo wasn't actually from the first 12 either. The one I saw was from The Empire Strikes Back. And I can't remember what the other... There was definitely a Luke Skywalker one I saw. I can't remember what the other ones were. But regardless of that, they really don't come up for sale very often, and they do demand quite high prices when they do, and that's obviously because of the collectability and the rareness, obviously the rareness of these figures. Like with all the figure manufacturers, they release them in limited quantities, keeps the collectability high, and it keeps the value of the figure high. And this particular series is no different to that. So, summarise, yes, they appear very occasionally on the platforms, but in different states of prices. I didn't see any open ones, to be perfectly frank, so condition probably not going to be an issue with these particular figures. I don't think anyone really opens them. When they get these figures in the packaging, they leave them in the packaging and display them in the packaging. So I don't think that condition will probably be much of an issue on if you do find these particular figures. But do bear in mind, if you are buying on a platform, I'll tell you over and over again, people's conditions, there's difference of opinion between one person's very good condition, somebody else's opinion could be acceptable, and some of the platforms use stock images and stock descriptions, so you could be looking at a brand new one, and if there's none available, it automatically goes to a used, the cheapest used item. So if it doesn't say new and it says used, click that use icon, because that will tell you what you're about to order, and it will stop you being disappointed when the item arrives. Not the seller's fault, not the buyer's fault, just the way the platforms work. Stupid if you ask me, but that's the way it works. Or alternatively, we at Midas Touch have managed to find a couple of these C3PO figures. Now, again, these were ex-shop stock. They were from a closed down shop that closed down just after COVID. They had a quantity of these jumbo figures still on their shelves, and there was a couple of C3POs. There was a Luke Skywalker, and there was a Han Solo, and all of those are, as of today, are available to purchase on the Midas Touch website, which you can get to very simply by clicking the link below. It will take you straight to the website. You'll be able to find this and many, many other vintage Star Wars items and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles. Come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. There will be something for everybody, and I'm absolutely positive this is something that you're not going to want to miss, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new items which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there's something in particular you're looking for, something old you've never been able to find, something quirky you might want to buy for a friend, or perhaps just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories, well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing this wonderful, wonderful Star Wars original trilogy Kenner 1977 jumbo figure by Gentle Giant with me. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next video. So bye for now.